Okay, let's talk about fractions. I know. For a lot of us, that word alone can be kind of scary. But what if I told you one of the most useful things you can do with fractions is actually, well, super easy?
And I can practically hear you thinking, easy? Fractions? No way. But trust me on this one. There's a little secret to multiplying fractions that makes it one of the most straightforward things in all of math. Seriously.
Just think about it. When you're adding fractions, it can get messy, right? You gotta find common denominators, it's a whole thing. But multiplying, it's a straight shot. It's actually way easier than adding, which is why it's such a great place to build some confidence.
So what's the trick? What makes it so simple? Well, it all boils down to one single rule. Think of it like a tool for your math toolkit that works every single time. And here it is. It's just 3 little steps. First, you just multiply the top numbers together. Then, you do the exact same thing for the bottom numbers. And boom, that's it. That's your answer. It really is that simple. Okay, let's put it to the test. Let's say we've got 2/3 times 4/5. All right, step 1, multiply the tops. 2 times 4, that gives us 8. Step 2, multiply the bottoms. 3 times 5 is 15. So our final answer? 8/15. See? No common denominators, no fuss. Let's do one more, just to make sure it sticks. How about 6/11 times 7/8? Same deal. Up top, 6 times 7 is 42. On the bottom, 11 times 8 is 88. So we get 42 over 88. Now, yeah, I know some of you are probably itching to simplify that fraction, but let's put a pin in that for now. The main thing is just getting the process down.
And get this, the rule isn't just for two fractions. You can stack them up. If you had, say, 1/2 times 4/3 times 3/5, you do the exact same thing. Multiply all the tops. 1 times 4 times 3, that's 12. Then multiply all the bottoms. 2 times 3 times 5 is 30. The answer? 12 over 30. The rule just works. Okay, so we've got the how down pat. It's simple, it works every time. But why, you know? Why is this so easy when other stuff with fractions feels so much harder? That's the real question. Well, this next part, this is the aha moment. We're going to peek behind the curtain and see the magic that makes this simple rule work. And once you see it, you'll never forget it. The big secret is, drumroll please, a fraction is just a division problem in disguise. That's it. 1/4 is literally just another way to write 1 divided by 4. Once that clicks, everything else just falls into place. So let's take our example, 1/4 times 2/3. If we rewrite it using that secret, what do we get? We get 1 divided by 4 times 2 divided by 3, right? It's just a mix of multiplying and dividing. Now here's the cool part. In math, multiplication and division are kind of like best friends. They play well together. That means we can shuffle the order around a bit. We can group the multiplication parts together first, so we can rewrite the whole thing as 1 times 2 divided by 4 times 3. We've got all the same numbers, just in a much friendlier order. And what does 2 divided by 12 look like when we write it as a fraction? It looks like 2/12. And that's it. That's why our little shortcut, multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms, actually works. It's not magic. It's just a clever way of rearranging the division. Okay, so maybe the whole division thing feels a little mathy. That's cool. There's another way to think about this, a much more visual way. It's all about taking a part of a part. So forget numbers for a second. The key idea is this. Multiplying fractions is like finding a piece of another piece. And what's the best way to visualize pieces? Pizza, of course. So imagine you've got half a pizza left. Just 1/2. Now, what if you take half of that half? What part of the original pizza do you actually have? You'd have a quarter of the whole pizza, right? And check this out. 1/2 times 1/2 equals 1/4. The math and the pizza match up perfectly. Multiplying is just taking a slice of a slice. This leads us to a super useful tip for word problems, that little word of. Whenever you see of in math, like what is 1/2 of 10 or find 3/4 of a whole, it's almost always a secret code word for multiply. It's your clue to translate the words into an equation. Okay, let's pull all of this together. We've covered the how, the why,
and even a visual trick to help it stick. Let's make sure we lock in the key takeaways. So here's what you need to remember. First, don't be scared of multiplying fractions. It's way easier than adding. Second, the golden rule. Multiply the tops, then multiply the bottoms. Easy. Third, the reason why it works. Fractions are just fancy division problems. Fourth, the visual. Think of it as taking a piece of a piece, like our pizza. And finally, your secret weapon for word problems, the word of usually means multiply. And that's it. The secret is out. Multiplying fractions isn't some big, scary monster. It's a totally logical, straightforward tool. So the only question now is, with this new math superpower, what are you going to solve first?